Hi everyone, and welcome back to Multiplicity Crafts. Today's video is all about mass producing cards for Christmas in July, although these ideas will work for any occasion. Let's take it step by step and begin with making our card bases. I'm going to be using my paper trimmer and cutting the standard size cardstock right down the middle, and this will give me two A2 size cards per sheet. And the A2 size cards are 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches, and that can be oriented horizontally or vertically. So if you don't have a paper trimmer, you can cut your card bases by hand, but for mass producing, I would highly recommend using a paper trimmer since this will streamline the process and give you the straight cuts that you need. Now I'm going to need 30 card bases, so that means I only need 15 sheets of cardstock since I can get 2 cards from each sheet. And this is also a great way to save time and money by just using the one sheet and getting 2 cards. Don't worry, I'm not going to cut all 30 card bases on camera, but I just wanted to show you that using this A2 size is really great because it streamlines everything for mass production. Once I have all 30 card bases cut out, I'm going to use my scoreboard to score and fold my cards. So I'm placing the paper in horizontally and I'm scoring at 4 1/4. After scoring, I usually flip my card over to crease it down using my scoring tool's smooth side, and this will give me a nice fold without the wrinkles or cracking in the crease. And it'll also create an evenly folded card base for me. And of course, you could do this by hand, as I personally have for many years, but I must say, having a scoreboard does make this process go so much faster. Plus, I don't have to worry if my card's folded straight, and it just works out better. Now, after I complete this process for all 30 cards, I'm going to be moving on to the most important fun step. The next step is where we get to have fun with preliminary design. And I also like to cut some layering panels at this point because it all goes into the design process. So you can see here that I have pre-cut some layering panels to put onto my card bases to add some color. I cut these layering panels at 4 inches by 5 1/4 inches, and that'll give me a nice white frame from the card base around them. I cut my panels out in solids, but you can definitely use patterned paper if you choose. So you can see here how the panel sits nicely in the center of the card, adding a little color to the stark white background. This makes designing a little less intimidating, I feel, and the paper I used happens to be double-sided paper, so it gives me some options when I'm in the preliminary design stage. Once I select the color I want to use, I use a coordinating 6x6 pattern paper pad to find some cut-aparts or a focal element I can use for the card front. Unfortunately, I think this particular paper pad is sold out, but there are tons of other pretty ones available and many new release designs too. Now, as I'm thumbing through this pad, I had a few pages really catch my eye, so I'm going to go ahead and pull those from the pad so I can get a better idea of the one I want to use. Also, I have this coordinating 12 by 12 sticker sheet where I can find elements to use on the card too. You can see where I've already been cutting away stickers to use, so when it's all said and done, I think I'm going to do a very simple design for example purposes for this card. I decided to go with this deep green layering panel, and I'm going to use the Oh Holy Night sentiment from my pattern paper cut-aparts. It's a good idea to keep your paper trimmer handy when in the preliminary design phase, since there is bound to be more cutting needed. Also, this will save you time from having to, go and retrieve your paper trimmer over and over again. I say that mass production is all about saving time and keeping the process moving. So once I pick out the sticker I want to use on the card front, I place it back onto the backer paper and cut it out. And the reason I do this is because I'm not quite ready to place it down just yet, and I need to keep it for my design, so I'm going to place that back. Now bear in mind, this super simple card is for example purposes only, just to show you the process. Also at this point, I will design the card's coordinating interior as well. And I will add the inside sentiment later with a stamp, but for now I'm just adding a little strip of glittery gold paper to the upper corner on the inside. Then I want to decide what sticker or envelope seal I want for the envelope that'll match back to the card. I would normally use a larger sticker, but this tiny little angel silhouette was just so cute that I'm going to use it for this one. Once everything is preliminarily designed, I will take all of the components and put inside my card, kind of like I'm using my card as a little mini file folder, and then I'll just put everything inside the envelope so I don't lose any of the little tiny pieces. Some cards seem to come together more easily than others, but as long as you keep the process going, then I think mass producing will be more of a breeze and not so monotonous. I like to make a variety of cards, but if you're designing the exact same card in bulk, then you can really go a lot faster after the original design is established. So as you can see, I pretty much follow the same protocol for each card, even though the designs for each card are a little bit different. So here I will design one final card on camera just to show you the process that keeps me on track. So the order I go in is that I begin with the layering panel, then I will add the focal point on the card front. Next, I decorate the inside of the card to match, and then I choose a coordinating sticker to serve as a decoration for the envelope. After everything is preliminarily designed, I put all of the components in my envelope to create myself a kit to put together later. The third step in mass producing cards is to embellish the card and to glue everything on. If you choose to dry emboss, it's best to do this before gluing anything on, but for example purposes, I'm going to be skipping this step. I'm going to pull out all of the elements from my card kit and glue everything down. I personally prefer to use a liquid glue for two reasons. One, it gives me some wiggle room to make slight adjustments, and two, it seems to hold much better in the weather than a glue runner or tape runner. Yeah, ask me how I know. Yep, I don't want to remember that year all my cards fell apart. Yeah, true story. But remember that a little liquid glue does go a long way. If you use too much, it'll ooze out the edges and it'll also warp your card. So that's why I prefer to use a little fine metal tip so I don't accidentally get too much glue. Also, another tip is not to take your glue all the way to the edge. Allow a little room for it to seep to the edges when you press it down into place, and that'll help prevent it oozing out also. Another trick I'm using for this card is to cut the center out of my gold glitter mat behind there to save my glitter cardstock, yes, but primarily so I can glue my angel directly onto the tan paper underneath for a good hold. Sometimes I find that paper doesn't stick to glitter as well as I would like, so this seems to give me a little added assurance that everything will hold together. After everything on the front is glued into place, I'll go ahead and glue in my interior element. And since two of my favorite glues I use are both fast drying, I don't have to hold the paper in place for very long. This is a great time saver too. So once everything is glued and looks good, I'll go ahead and put the card and the sticker back into the envelope together for safekeeping until the final step. Again, you can see this example on camera of how quick and easy it is to put everything together since we did most of the design work already. So on this particular card, I'm embellishing the front a little bit by adding some dimensional foam circles to the focal point, so that way it's not adhered flat to the card, but with some dimension. Some other ideas for embellishments are to use glitter, Nuvo drops, baker's twine. You could add sequins, distress inking to the edges, dry embossing, or you could even take a white gel pen to add accents. There's lots of ideas to spruce up your cards. Okay, now we're on the final step, and that's to stamp the inside sentiment on all of the cards. This is also a good time to stamp your handmade by text on the back of your card if you want to. Now for my sentiment, I'm using this new to me Hero Art stamp set, but you can use any stamp set that you currently own or that you are going to order. I like versatile sets that give me a variety of sentiments which I can piece together. So for my card interiors, I'm piecing together these sentiments to say, may peace and joy fill your home and life, Merry Christmas. And I'm also using the little floral swag above my sentiment to frame it a bit. When mass producing, it's almost essential to have a stamping platform. I know many crafters have the Misty platform, but the one I own is the We Are Memory Keepers Precision Press, but this one does the trick. The good thing about having a stamping platform is that all you have to do is line up the sentiments once and you're good to go. I'm sure you'd agree that having the right tools for the job makes mass producing far more efficient. And that's why I decided to pull out my Ink Navigator kit, which you see me using. It's a handle of sorts for my ink pad, so I don't have to precariously, hold it by the little thin plastic borders when inking my stamp, because I inevitably will get it all over my fingers and then get the ink all over my card and ruin them. So you may notice that I'm inking up this stamp a little bit more than usual because it's a new stamp and also because my ink pad is a little bit dry because it's been well loved. Now another perk to the Ink Navigator kit is that it comes with this platform you can see on the right where I can just set my ink face down in between stamping. To me, that's so much easier on my wrist than flipping it around each time to set it on my desk. Plus, I'll be honest, I am quite klutzy, so anything that prevents me from fumbling around with the ink pad is going to be a big help to me. Now, although the Ink Navigator kit works great on smaller projects, I especially created it for streamlining mass production projects. So you can see how wonderfully the Ink Navigator kit works hand in hand with the stamping platform. And what's even better is that I designed it to accommodate most standard size ink pads. So whether they're square, rectangle, or oval, it'll fit most of the standard size ink pads as well as the full-size Tim Holtz Distress ink pads. The ink pad also will remove from the tool for storage, and the ink platform can be easily cleaned with a baby wipe or damp cloth. Now, cleanup might not be our most exciting part of creating, but if you can do a little bit along, it won't be quite as daunting of a task afterward. And just like that, you have a healthy stack of cards completed. All that's left now is to sign them, seal the envelope, and add your sticker. Then we just address them and stamp and mail. It's that easy. Oh, and before you go, let me show you how to mass produce for less money. So we all want to save money, and if you're watching this video in July of 2021, there is a big Christmas in July sale happening over at scrapbook.com. But if not, don't worry, they do have great sales year-round. But let me just show you, for fun, how affordable it was for me to make 30 Christmas cards by shopping this sale. So for this project, I got the Echo Park Silent Night Collection journaling cards, along with the coordinating 12x12 solid papers, the 12x12 sticker sheet, as well as the 6x6 paper pad of coordinating papers. If you do the math, I was able to make 30 Christmas cards for only 54 cents per card. And to be honest, I could have made them a lot cheaper too. So on scrapbook.com, if you scroll down through the single sheets of 12 by 12 Christmas paper for sale, you'll notice that many are marked down to clearance. So I saw some on there for as little as 43 cents per sheet. But let's say, for example purposes, that I got this Simple Stories cut apart paper you see there on the left for 76 cents per sheet. So let's say that I need 30 cards and I want this design, so I could easily just buy 3 sheets, cut apart each element, and have half a dozen left over. Then I could use other coordinating paper, stamps, embellishments that I already own for the rest. So that would equate to only $2.28, and I could get over 30 cards for that, which would equate to, roughly around 7 or 8 cents per card. That's amazing, huh? So you can mass produce for literally pennies, and I hope this was very helpful for you. If so, I would love for you to consider subscribing and leaving a thumbs up. Also, be sure to check out my other suggested videos on the screen for more great ideas. Thank you so much for watching and have a blessed day.